all 3 of the Uncharted games for PS3 are being remastered.
Everything great about Halo Sandbox, all into one multiplayer.
I kind of know.
I think when I bought it,
I thought
back great.
Fasten your seatbelt.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell.
I wonder what this could be. Maybe an iPad? No, it's way too big to be an iPad. Right?
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bell time.
Hey, what do you know? It is an iPad. The iPad Pro. Hey guys, you've probably guessed it, but today we're going to be unboxing the iPad Pro. Also make sure to stick around to around the 3.5 minute mark where Jake and I share our thoughts on the iPad Pro. But here in front of us we have the 128 gig model, and it is actually the gold color option for the iPad Pro. And the packaging, you notice, maintains that kind of classic minimal Apple packaging design. And it looks like Apple has chose to actually enclose this iPad in kind of a frosted screen protector. It seems to go all the way around the device. I would say right away the thing you notice is just how large this thing. I mean, this thing is gargantuan, but still retains a very thin form factor for its size. Alright, and it looks like in the box we kind of have our standard things if you've ever purchased an Apple product. We have the manual, the lightning cord, which does appear to be much larger than previous models such as the Air and Air 2. Looks like it may be a 6-foot cable. And the brick seems to be the same, which I would suspect would actually lead to longer charge times. I think I've read that it charges somewhere in the vicinity of 4.5 hours, which is a lot longer than the iPad Air 2, for instance. Okay, now let's go back to the thing that you guys came here to see, the iPad Pro. And let's get this plastic off so we can get a better look at that gold finish that we have on this iPad Pro in particular here. You know, the gold, it's pretty much the same color that you'll find on the iPad Air 2 and the iPhone 6s and 6s Plus. Alright guys, here on the bottom we have one of 4 stereo speakers, a lightning connector which is capable of USB 3.0 speeds, and a second stereo speaker. And on the top we have a 3.5mm headphone jack, a third stereo speaker. Again, there are 4 on this device, and there's the 4th, and a lock button. Now for the left side of the device, we have only the smart connector, which is used with the Apple Smart Keyboard and third-party accessories. It is magnetic and can transfer power, data, and serves as a ground. Finally, on the right side of the device, we have a microphone and the volume rocker. Wave to the camera, Jake. And now for our discussion of Apple's latest food tray. Frisbee. Tablet.
Hey guys, Jalon here.
And Jake.
And in front of us we have an iPad Pro.
Yeah.
And we're just going to kind of run through some of the things we think about it, some of the things we like, some of the things we don't like. It should be mentioned that we've not really had a chance to kind of run this thing through the ringer, go through some real world tests. We haven't really did a lot of that yet, so most of the things that we're going to be talking about are really just a really straightforward kind of approach to this, kind of what do we think of the hardware, what do we think of the concept, how does this fit into kind of a real world scenario.
Yep.
So first, I guess we'll kind of talk about like just the design of the product. What do you think about the iPad Pro as far as that goes?
Well, I like the design of the iPad Pro as much as I like the design of the other iPad products because it's the same. It's
kind of a larger version, right?
Yeah, it's just a larger version. So I really like the design a whole lot, and I actually say that I like the I think that's where it is, the connector.
Yeah, the smart
I like how
connector.
It's like really flush with the side. So like in the Surface Pro, there's like a big big crease inside for it, and I like how that's like really flat.
I do too. What about the placement of the stereo speakers? I know you like front-facing speakers a lot more.
Yeah, I like front-facing speakers a whole lot, and I think that that all those speakers being on there helps a whole lot. Without having front-facing speakers, it's at least something better.
Right, and the sound will actually kind of adjust kind of based the way you're holding it. And
yeah, see, that's one problem that I actually have with the iPad Air 2 is like my hand would always be over the speaker when I'm using it, so that's kind of cool that they did that.
Right, you kind of have to cup around the speakers just to kind of get the sound of head more your direction, I guess.
Yeah. It's kind of annoying.
But we haven't really done a lot of tests for the sound and stuff, but the sound, from what I've heard, is really good on this.
Yeah,
I mean, it
I
reaches
agree.
a really high decibel level.
Yeah.
And overall, I mean, I like the design, like you were saying, just as much as any other iPad. It's really cleanly designed. The smart connector, it's not invasive. It's really flush, like you were saying.
I like that a lot.
Next, let's kind of talk about the performance. What do you think of what Apple's kind of packed into this tablet?
I think that the performance is really impressive. I mean, from what they've shown, it was like they said it was desktop class, which I don't know if I believe that or not. That's kind of stretching it just a tad bit, but I mean, it's still impressive for like its form factor and battery life. It's
and this has the A9X in it.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it has the A9X, and Apple didn't necessarily verify this, but teardowns have shown it has 4 gigs of RAM. And
Apple never verifies RAM.
yeah, they don't like to do that. Apple actually, like, just the way that they put the 4 speakers in, just kind of going back to the design really quick, they actually could have gotten away with probably putting a bigger battery in this.
They probably
if they hadn't put all those speakers on there. So what do you think about their choice to opt for more speakers over making the battery a little bigger?
As long as they get 10 hours of battery, I would say they're good.
Yeah, that's what's rated at, right?
So,
Yeah. So the performance, I mean, it looks to really be impressive. It's probably not desktop class like you were saying, but
I would imagine that it's about maybe a 4th gen Intel Core i5. That's kind of like the level, which that technically is desktop class because that's like a Intel Core i3 desktop processor. So yeah, I guess you could say
some desktops, yeah, but like it's not going to be replacing any.
Yeah, I mean, not what, like you
yeah.
would initially think when you hear desktop. Like, it sounds a lot better.
Yeah, and Apple claims you can edit 4 4K streams at once, so that's pretty impressive as far as video editing goes.
That's pretty darn impressive.
People have talked about this several times, but I think the only thing holding this hardware back is iOS.
Yeah, I agree with that, yeah.
So, like, you technically can do a lot of these things, but you're still limited, I think, somewhat by iOS and how.
It doesn't seem like developers have caught up yet. Like,
and really, that's going to be the make or break of this product, I think.
Yep.
Our developers going to make pro class. I personally think that some changes are going to have to be made to the App Store in order to make this happen. Like, I don't think Apple is necessarily the most inviting place for professional applications. I actually think it invites a lot of. You see a lot of garbage on the App Store. Like, there's a lot of garbage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of free games and apps that are just bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think they need to open up like a new model that lets you try before you buy.
Yeah.
Something like that. Because the reason you don't spend a lot of money on apps is because, you can get free apps that do similar things. And if you really want to make yourself stand out as a paid app, you have to be able to show people that it's worth paying extra money for.
Yeah.
And unless Apple does that, I don't see many professional apps really jumping on board, do you?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Yeah, I don't see that happening either unless Apple implements something like that. Like, developers, I don't think they would want to actually develop professional grade apps for the iPad Pro because of the price issue on iOS. Like, most apps are either from $10 to $20. So,
absolutely.
And most professional software is up towards like $100, $200.
Yeah, even like the Adobe CS suite, that's
like $600.
Yeah, that it's a lot of money, and there's no way. I definitely hear what you're saying. Like, if there's comparable apps that are cheaper, why wouldn't people just opt for that? And I think, and especially if you don't let people try before they buy, you're really not going to convince people. Like, they're just going to see the free version and download it.
Yeah.
They're not even going to give that a second look.
Yeah.
The only way to hook people in is to let them try it and see, well, this is a lot better than the free one I'm using. Maybe I should think about,
And they may, justify that purchase.
And then also another kind of holdback on iOS is file management. I think if you're a professional user and you need to edit things in multiple apps and stuff, it can be a little bit more tedious to do that on iOS, I think.
Yeah, I could see that.
Just switching apps back and forth.
Yeah.
It'd be a lot easier if you could just
going 3 different apps open in,
Yeah, exactly. So to me that's kind of a holdback.
Yeah, that seems like it'd be kind of annoying. They definitely need some sort of file explorer.
I think so too. And I think we need to see some more optimizations in iOS for a professional tablet. One of the big things that sticks out in my mind, at least, is just even the home screen layout. It's a I mean, it's too spaced out. Like
5x5 grid.
It's the still 5x5, just like the iPad Air too. Like,
I even think that they could even put more on the iPad Air.
yeah, I mean they probably could.
Put more apps on the screen.
Yeah, they made it to where there's more apps in a folder, which
Yeah.
helped, I thought.
Yeah.
And like the 6 Plus has like an extra app than the 6, so they've been known to make optimizations like that.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't get why they haven't taken that to the Pro. I mean, I expect them to do that in the future though.
Yeah, I mean, I think that maybe 8x8 would be kind of
Mhm.
more ideal for that screen that large.
And even some of the stock apps are not really optimized well for it. I don't think like the just like the Mail app and the Notes app. There's a lot of space just on each side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't really.
Probably kind of like how the original iPad it was when it first came out.
Yeah, like it was just running upscale iPhones apps basically.
It'll probably catch up though. Like
I
the
think
same
so.
way the iPad Air 2 did, I would say, in a few years. So.
Mm-hmm. But there definitely needs to be some optimizations, and if they don't add a File Explorer to the Air, like the iPad Air, it definitely needs to be on the Pro, I think.
Yeah.
Because that's an essential, I think, as far as
Yeah.
that goes. Now, one of the things that kind of distinguishes this from other iPads is the accessories.
Yeah.
That's the Apple Pencil and the Smart Keyboard.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on those two? We'll
I-
start with the Smart Keyboard.
The Smart Keyboard I actually don't like. I don't like it at all.
It's like an origami mess.
It's like an origami mess, I actually kind of like what they were going for though.
Mhm.
I like it in theory, but I don't like the execution.
Mm-hmm,
Because
sure.
in theory, it's pretty much like the it's like this.
It's a smart cover, yeah.
It's like a smart cover, except like there's an extra thing that'll open up, and there's a keyboard inside of it.
Right. And I actually used one in the Apple Store. We actually don't have this to actually look at, but the keyboard, it'll actually fold over.
Yeah, I thought
Or
that was
or you can fold it back, and it's literally just a smart
Yeah, it's
keyboard.
just a
You can
smart
keep the
keyboard.
keys folded
I
back.
like that. I thought that was cool.
I agree, but
But it's like a clumsy mess when you actually.
yeah,
try to,
yeah, like it's a good idea in principle,
Yeah.
but when you
like I
actually
see what they were trying to do.
when you actually use it, you're just like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like, how's this go?
like I've seen videos that like was comparing the iPad Pro to the Surface Pro, and like that origami mess just makes the Surface Pro look so elegant. So
plus it only has one angle,
yeah, one angle. Yeah.
which wouldn't be the end of the world, but it's
It's-
worth mentioning.
Yeah.
hmm The Apple Pencil, on the other hand, I think is phenomenal.
I agree with that. Yeah.
I actually used one in an Apple Store, and one of the big features that they're touting is like just the ability to shade.
Yeah,
Like
I love
it,
it, yeah.
it actually calculates the angle that you're holding it. And
Yeah.
I was doing some drawing, and even on the stock Notes app, you can kind of shade. Like I drew like a tree, and I was able to like
Yeah.
make shadows. Like
That's awesome.
it's like turning a pencil on its side
Yeah.
and getting that kind of effect. Like
Yeah.
you really get that effect.
That's cool.
And
yeah.
I've even seen some apps that like when you do the shading, your finger does other stuff. So like
Mhm.
you can tilt it on its side and shade, and then take your finger and smear it like you really
That's
would on
cool.
paper.
Yeah,
You know, like
that's awesome.
implementations like that
Yeah, that's-
are like really to me kind
Yeah.
of big selling points. I
Yeah,
think.
I agree with that. I think that was one of my favorite things that I saw about it, was just like how like whenever you turn it to the side, it makes all these like
Mhm.
weird looking lines.
Yeah, like you can like I've seen a video of someone holding the pencil up, and then you can tilt it, and like the line will get wider and
Yeah.
skinnier.
I mean, it's unique.
Yeah, it's really accurate too.
Yeah, I heard that,
I
yeah.
like that a lot.
One thing I would say that I don't like about it is the plastic design. Like it's not like aluminum like everything else Apple. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which Apple they've been known to kind of go with that slick white finish.
they have.
Like
yeah.
they even the first like MacBooks, they were like that.
I mean, it definitely goes along with our design language.
hmm
Yeah.
I like the simple, clean design.
do
I
too.
I think they did that well. What do you think about how it charges?
Oh, that's
Not-
the worst decision they've
Not
ever
a
made.
fan of that. See, I don't think it's awful because
I actually think it's awful.
because it's not going to be there long. Like 15 seconds, they said get you 30 minutes. So
That's on the same boat as the Apple mouse.
hmm
Yeah.
yeah. So it's just kind of like if you're riding, it goes dead. You just stick it there.
It's like really fast.
And it actually comes with an adapter. It comes in the box with an adapter, so you don't have to
Mhm.
purchase it separately. But the adapter, you just put it on the end, and you can charge it with a cable if you would rather do that.
Well, so that
but-
would be better. Yeah.
Yeah, to me, like it just seems like an emergency scenario. Like
Mhm.
if you run out of juice,
Yeah.
then you can plug it on the stock, in the stock port on the iPad.
Just, I mean, I could definitely see
It
that.
getting broken or.
Like it's snapping, like breaking the cable,
Mhm.
the port off, and
hmm
I could see that happening a lot to people.
Yeah, which like I said, it's not really made to stay there. You know what I mean? Like it's not a permanent like docking station. To,
Plug it in there and turn your iPad into a giant lollipop and walk around and lick.
But like, I think it's fine for if you're just like riding, it goes dead, and you're like, oh, psh, and then you
Yeah,
start
that's
riding
okay,
again. You know what I
yeah.
mean? and then it comes for the adapter if you want to charge it every night. You can plug it in or whatever.
What do you think about there being virtually no storage options for the pen whatsoever for the iPad Pro?
Yeah, that's a little lame.
that's a little lame.
To me, you know, I don't really care that it's not on the iPad. Maybe they could have did something like magnetic or something
Like
would have been
the Surface
fine,
Pro?
like the Surface Pro. But really, not having it on the smart keyboard, like even like
Yeah.
just a little loop.
Like
I
with
mean,
the Surface Pro 3?
yeah, that just
Yeah.
seems like a missed opportunity to me.
Yeah, I mean...
Oh,
they
also,
should at least have a loop.
something I don't like about the keyboard is how it's not backlit.
Yeah.
That bothers me a lot.
That bothers me quite a bit, yeah.
I do like
Especially
that.
for the price.
I do like it spill proof though. You can just
Yeah.
spill anything you want on it.
I like that, yeah.
because it's all cloth across it.
Yeah.
So there's no seams or gaps for the liquid to get down in
That's
and
I like
potentially
that.
harm it. So
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, but it
Seems to be really durable.
Yeah, it does.
I use the keyboard and it reminded me a lot of the new MacBook keyboard. Like
yeah.
I think it uses the same scissor mechanism.
It's similar, yeah.
It's a little jarring at first, but it's something that like even after using it for like 10 minutes, I found myself getting better at it already. Like, you know, I think the typing experience is fine on it.
I think the typing experience will be okay for a tablet, but I think, you know, if you're comparing it to like other laptops, I mean, there's going to be probably 10 times better for your money,
definitely. Yeah.
I mean, it's in terms of typing, you know.
Yeah.
Obviously, the iPad Pro offers things that, you know, laptops don't. So,
right.
which is why you may want to buy this device.
And also, like, if you buy, like, an accessory, if you buy an iPad keyboard for, like, an Air 2, for instance, you're not really going to get a full set of keys just because of the width of the screen, and it has to accommodate that. But with the Pro, you do get a full-size keyboard.
That's true.
And you even get a full on-screen keyboard. So that's, you know, that's
the
nice.
On-screen keyboard I saw was more like the Mac keyboards and stuff.
Yeah, it has a number row, and it has some extra kind of stuff to each side, and it, like, when you lay your hands on it, it feels more like a full-size keyboard.
Yeah.
Whereas the iPad Air is kind of a little more
Like iPhone.
cramped, yeah. So where do you think this thing fits in with other tablets kind of in the market, like Surface Pro line and
You know,
the Pixel C?
I think it fits along with the Pixel C and the Surface Pro. I guess if you're comparing them, if you're speaking like comparatively, like which one's my favorite and which one's my least favorite, I would say my favorite is probably the Surface Pro, followed by the iPad Pro, and then the Pixel C last.
See, I'm not even. I think Apple actually made a mistake in putting Pro in the name.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that's really what it's aimed. To be honest with you, it's a little confusing what the product is even aimed at.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
agree.
to me, it's a really niche audience. Like I think it's not. I don't think it's necessarily pro users. I think it's more of an artist tablet.
It is.
Because iOS, it to me, iOS is one of the best places for creation.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good creative apps on the App Store in that the iOS ecosystem. And then when you couple that with, you know, the Apple Pencil and how it offers like a unique drawing experience, to me that seems like an audience that it's more accommodating for.
So what you're saying is you kind of wish they would maybe make a slightly larger iPad Air 2 or iPad Air 3 or whatever with a pencil.
I think this is an iPad Plus.
iPad Plus.
You know, kind of like the iPhone,
Yeah.
6 Plus. Yeah. That, to me, it seems more along that lines. Like, it doesn't really seem
Like a
any more
iPad Pro.
professional
Yeah.
necessarily.
Yeah, Pro, I'll agree. It's kind of the wrong name for it, I would say.
And I think that's the only reason people are comparing it to, can this thing replace my laptop? Like, I don't think Apple even ever, they never said this will replace your laptop.
They said that it could for some people.
Yeah, I think Tim Cook, he had a quote saying that. But as far as, like, when they market it, like, I don't think they're saying...
It's not touted like the Surface Pro is,
Exactly,
like as a
yeah.
laptop replacement. Yeah. So it's not like the tablet that can replace your laptop.
I think it's the Pro name that brings on people to think like that. I think a lot of people that have reviewed this, they've reviewed it as, is this a laptop replacement or is it not?
Yeah, I think it's that in combination with the price. I think, you know.
Sure.
It's
Because the price point is the same
It's
as
a
a
laptop.
MacBook, for
Yeah.
instance. Yeah.
I think that's another big factor. That's a really big factor.
I agree with you.
So, I mean, if you could buy a MacBook for the same price, why even buy this thing? You know?
Yeah, that's definitely a concern, I think. Yeah, as far as it being able to replace a laptop, I think it could for some people, like you were saying.
I think it comes a lot closer than iPad Air 2 does.
It does, yeah. Just the ability to run 2 full screen apps, I think, helps with that tremendously. And then in combination, just a couple of smaller things they did is the Lightning port is USB 3 capable. So if you use like a USB adapter, you'll be able to transfer at 3.0 speeds.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, that helps.
Yeah.
And the smart connector, we'll see what people do with that in the future, but that's kind of it's a connector that can transfer data and power.
It'd be interesting to see what third-party People,
Yeah, like you could even go beyond keyboards with that. So I'm
Yeah.
interested to see if anyone kind of jumps on board with that.
It's interesting to see what they do with it. Yeah.
Logitech actually makes a keyboard that's pretty cool. I don't know if you've seen it. It's called the Logitech Create, I
I
think.
think I've heard that it's kind of like the one that people buy more.
Yeah, it's actually made out of aluminum, and it has like backlit keys.
Probably what the one that Apple made should have been like.
I've heard it's a little on the heavy side though.
It is.
That might have been why they didn't go that route.
Yeah.
Because I know Apple, they tout like portability. That's one of the things that would.
I think that's one of the reasons why you would buy this over a laptop is portability.
I agree.
I think it's 1.65 pounds.
1.65 pounds. So that, I mean that's really light.
Yeah.
For a which the new MacBook's like what 2.3 pounds? Is that
2.3? Yeah.
Yeah. So
Surface Pro
It's
4
lighter.
is like 1.76 pounds.
Mhm.
So that's. I think it's actually 1.73 pounds.
yeah, I like the Surface's keyboard a lot more.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think the Surface has came closer than anyone has to making a laptop style keyboard in
I think
such a thin
like
form
the
factor.
Surface is definitely like the king of the bunch, like of
Mhm.
this like class of tablets.
I think for a laptop replacement, it's most definitely.
Yeah, I mean, you just take like if you look at the Surface comparatively to these two tablets, like you can just tell like the design is so much better. Like they really.
Well, I think when you look at them all, you can tell that the Surface is a lot more time to like mature and iron out the kinks. Like,
Yeah.
and I expect the iPad Pro to even
Mm-hmm.
kind of, become a little bit more of a mature product. Like right now, I think it's in its baby stages. Like
Mhm.
it's, I don't know where it'll go from here, but I see a lot of missteps in it right now.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's kind of cool though. Like, the Surface Pro, whenever it came out,
Mhm.
it was kind of in its baby steps, kind of like the iPad Pro is right now. So the same thing may happen. The iPad Pro may,
Well, I think the iPad Pro and the Surface Pro, they both have radically different visions, and I think we've seen Microsoft, their vision's fully realized now. So you may not like that vision or you may love that vision, but this is the vision.
Yeah.
The vision's here now.
yeah, it's a thing.
I don't think Apple's vision has really
It's not
fully
realized yet.
manifested itself
I
yet.
think it took Microsoft a few iterations of the product line to kind
I
of.
agree, but like what they have now is what
Yeah.
it's to me. It's the perfect version of that outside of battery life.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, and I think Apple still has some time catching up to do with that.
They do. I agree.
but I think they'll catch up. So
I agree. I don't think it'll necessarily in doing some of the same things as the Surface Pro is doing. I think they'll go a completely different direction with it. I think just the fact that it runs iOS shows that they have a different vision than
Yeah.
even Microsoft has, I think.
yeah, I think this may be where tablets are going now, like with these new like style tablets. And I think this is kind of like this is what Microsoft's like. This is what where Microsoft thinks the tablet's going. Well, Apple's like, well, okay, well we think the tablet's going this way, so we're going to do it our way. So
Yeah. And we'll see if a mobile operating system can kind of see.
do a like a full desktop operating system for like a
See,
mobile product.
I don't necessarily think Apple's wrong, and I have no problems with the iPad Pro running iOS.
Yeah.
But with that, you have to mature it,
Yeah.
and I don't think they did that.
Yeah, I don't think they have.
You know what I mean?
And I think I think there's pros and cons to each. Like battery life is, I think, the biggest con to the Surface Pro, and then the software, like the professional grade software on the iPad Pro is the biggest con on that. So it's either you want battery life or professional software right now. at
I
least.
agree. That's not to say that they haven't did anything, because I think split screen multitasking, while it hit the Air 2 first, you can tell they had the Pro in mind, I think, when they made those features
Yeah.
that came in iOS 9. I like that it runs 2 full iPad apps.
I like that.
And then you can also do picture-in-picture, so you could be on a voice chat on Skype, or you could, be watching, a video, and then you could have 2 apps.
I can see that would be really cool. Yeah.
And then they've added some keyboard shortcuts that are in each app. Like you can switch between open apps using Command Tab. They're doing some things to move it in the right direction.
They are,
It's
yeah.
just not fully realized yet, I don't think.
I think with the improvements that they're making to iOS 9, I think they need a nice new shiny piece of hardware that really takes advantage of it. I think that's what the iPad Pro is right now.
Yeah, but they need to even go further with that and add some more features, I think.
I think really, I think what they need to do with the iPad is make it kind of like a mini Mac, sort of, in a way. Like they need to mimic a Mac in an iPad sort of way that makes sense. Like for instance, like a file explorer, and some of the things that they're adding, maybe keyboard shortcuts. And I think they're doing the right thing with split screen, and I think they're definitely moving in the right direction. They need to kind of take that a step further. And I think it needs it needs to be a touch version of a Mac OS. I think.
which actually iOS kind of is a touch version of OS X in a certain sort of way.
It is, yeah.
Because when Jobs first made the iPhone, he had a choice between making a phone operating system or he could do like a more mini version of OS X, and that's the route he chose.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's like that already, but I was talking about in terms of productivity and usability. It's kind of
so you mean like window management or?
I just mean like it doesn't really feel all that much like OS X in terms of productivity. Like OS X is still like leaps and bounds ahead of it, and I think that they need to like,
Well, how would you change that? Like, well, give me an example of what you're saying. Like maybe window management, is that kind of what you're
like
driving
virtual
at?
desktops on the iPad. Like you could like maybe let two split screen apps like on this screen, then maybe like quickly switch over and have two more like on another desktop.
That might help.
That'd be cool.
But I mean, I don't know if that's. I mean, I agree that would help, but I don't know if like virtual desktops is really like a necessity, because I mean Windows just got it and it's been a perfectly productive
it has.
operating system for a while.
And that's just kind of like a small little like idea, but I mean I'm just saying like they need to make refinements in that area.
One of the things I've noticed is would be how quickly you can change the app that's locked on the right side. Like I don't really like how you scroll just endlessly.
Yeah, see, I don't use OS X, so it's kind of hard for me to like.
No, man, I'm talking about iOS. Like, for instance, if you have an app locked on the side, when you pull from the top, you have to scroll endlessly.
Yeah.
Like, I think they need to.
Like, it's just like this big line of apps, right?
Yeah, in the alphabetical order, which is a little tedious.
That's tedious. That's not like Apple-like at all.
It's not, no. See, that's something they need to clean up, I think.
Yeah, I don't really know how they would do that, though.
I think even just a search function. Like, if you get a search bar, you could just type in the app you want to.
I think Microsoft has definitely done a lot better in terms of that with Windows 10, but I think Apple again has some catching up to do, but they'll get there.
Yeah, I think so too. I like a lot of the keyboard shortcuts they've implemented, like Command Tab, switch between, and then I like how you can open up Spotlight like you can on a Mac by pushing Command Space.
See that's kind of stuff I was talking about. Like that's ways to make it feel like a mini Mac.
Like if you're on an app, you can just push Command Space. It'll take you out of the app, and then you're in Spotlight, and you can open an app.
See, I'm talking about just small stuff like that.
I think the more things you can do without your hands leaving the keyboard is the better.
And that's actually another problem that kind of brings us to is like I've heard other people complain about is like whenever you're using the whole keyboard setup here, you have to actually like move your hands off of the keyboard and like touch the tablet to that's like your main.
They need to add some more things like that. One thing they have added is like even something small is like if you're on Safari, you can scroll using the arrow keys. Yeah. That helps. Like that makes it to where you don't have to.
I never liked doing that though on computers, is scrolling with the arrow keys. I thought it was kind of annoying. It's like slower and stuff, but I mean it's still better.
Yeah, I mean it's better than leaving the keyboard, and then you can switch apps with the keyboard. One thing I don't like is this is kind of a small thing, but like when you do Spotlight search, I don't like how you can't use the arrow keys to go down like different results. Like, I wish you could. It's nice that they let you open Spotlight, but then once you're on Spotlight, you have to leave the keyboard, so it really defeated the purpose. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they should have Command Space, and then you type what you want, and then you arrow down, and then push Enter to open the app.
Yeah.
Like, they need to take that a step further.
Yeah. They need to definitely, like, refine that a little bit more, I think,
But, like, if you're on Safari, they have a shortcut to enter the address bar and start typing, and you can use the arrows to go through different, suggested stuff. So, I mean, that helps, I guess.
Yeah, that helps. Yeah.
They just need to take something a little further.
Someone said that they wish that had like maybe like a mouse pointer, which I think that would help.
Yeah, it might.
But I mean, a mouse for an iPad, that's kind of weird. But I mean, that's really the only thing that I could think of to solve that problem of you like not having to move your hand and like physically touch the iPad while you're using a keyboard. Yeah,
really, to me, keyboard shortcuts is what I want. Which your average user may not want to remember a lot of shortcuts, but
I mean, keyboard shortcuts can only do so much.
That's true. That's true.
And sometimes you need mouse pointer.
That's definitely true.
But I don't think they're ever going to do that.
All right, guys, that's just kind of some of our thoughts on the iPad Pro. It's definitely a device I think that shows a lot of promise, but still has a ways to go.
Yep, I agree. Yep.
What did you think of the iPad Pro, and what would you like to see Apple do differently in future iterations? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one.
Yep, and we'll catch you guys next time.